The annual homeless count began in Los Angeles, with volunteers walking through encampments in all parts of the city. The effort, which was organized by the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, was designed to make sure all unsheltered Angelenos were accounted for. Even LA Mayor Eric Garcetti took the time to serve, counting in some of the most hard-to-reach, desolate places where far too many Angelenos are forced to call home. The homeless count goes on for 3 nights in a row. The more accurate the count, the more funding cities will receive to help deal with the problem. Earlier, scores of volunteers had gathered at the North Hollywood Recreation Center for training. It was the first night of the count, and many were determined to make a difference. Equipped with maps and instructions, special vests, clipboards, and flashlights, they came together to show their sense of humanity.
And I think, what can I do? How can I help this? And this is the first thing that I have run into that said, you don't have to solve the problem, you just help.
It's the least I can do. I walk by a lot of homeless people every day, and it's very upsetting. I'd like to do more, but this opportunity came up, so I was happy to do this.
Elected leaders and community activists were on hand to show their support for the volunteer effort. They say what's at stake here are millions in federal housing and urban development vouchers. These vouchers can be used for existing units, speeding up the waiting time for much-needed housing.
This is the day we see how many of us are homeless, and we see who they are. We count them, we compare where we're at, and we can go to the federal government and the state and say, this is how much money we need.
I lost my job, so I'm here.
Eddie Rodriguez is hoping that LA does get more help. He showed us his tent on a noisy street in North Hollywood. It's a place he has called home for what seems like an eternity.
It's messed up. I mean, I see people like you could die from the coldness, you know? Especially with this cold weather that's been going on, I mean, and nobody cares.
Zondre Johnson can't hold back the tears as she remembers her years living on the streets. She gets emotional as she talks about her hope for those who don't have permanent housing.
Because now I want everybody that's like me, or formerly like me, to have that feeling of walking into your apartment for the first time.
Officials say the preliminary statistics will be tallied by community partners at the University of Southern California by this spring. After that, an application will be submitted, and if all goes well, new federal funding could be received by early next year.